To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. And to be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved. And the darkness can come quick, the danger's in the anger and in the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. And tell me what it is that you see, a world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to, they look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. I'm Reverend Marcus Liefert, so glad to be with you in this place where we gather each week at the intersection of arts, justice, and spirituality. If you are visiting with us for the first time, I want to especially welcome you here this morning. We hope that no matter who you are or how you make your living, no matter whom you love, or how you experience the sacred, you will feel welcome among us here in the fullness of your being. Everyone is invited to stay after the service, make your way all the way across the atrium into the social hall for lunch freely served after the service. We have a memory book in the back of the sanctuary. If there's something on your heart that you'd like lifted up during the service, you're always welcome to write it there and I'll read it aloud, or you can light a candle for a silent memory or prayer. Today in this series, we've been thinking about the futures we incubate. We've got a different kind of service leaning back into history to imagine a future that is more just, beautiful, and full of all the colors of humanity. So our People of Color Caucus has a tradition here the last several years of leading a service during Black History Month. We're so grateful. In this tradition that has been historically white and continues to be majority white folks involved, it takes a certain degree of tenacity, commitment, tolerance to be a person of color willing to stick it out among us here. We are so glad these leaders are here. These leaders are us. And they are bringing us into a beautiful future where we express our values more freely and fully. So thank you, all of the People of Color Caucus members who made this service happen. I'm going to invite everyone to rise in body or spirit. We're going to turn to the camera in the back of the sanctuary and just wave to welcome those of us on Zoom. Thanks for being here on YouTube or Facebook, however you're with us. And then before we get a little video introduction of all of our People of Color Caucus members, Brian's going to interrupt us with the piano, but why don't you turn and greet each other? Welcome folks to church this Sunday.
As we begin, we want to acknowledge that this church occupies land in Huchun, in the unceded territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people, May we have the humility and courage to do our part to restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with Indigenous communities and the earth.
Good morning. This is part one of a poem written by Amanda Gorman. It's called The Hill We Climb. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade, the loss we carry, a sea we must wade? We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned the quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet, the dawn is ours. Before we knew it, somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are arriving to form a union that is perfect. We are arriving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And as we lift our glass and to what stands between us, what stands before us, close the divide before we came, to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We'll lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say that this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, and even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever find together victorious, and because we will never again show defeat, and because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under our own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live in our own time, then victory won't lie in the shade. But in all the bridges we've made, this is the promise to Glade, the bill to fill the clouds of only we dare to, if only we dare to, because being American is more than pride. It's just past. It's just the past we step into, and love, we repair it. Thank you.
Good morning. As we uphold and celebrate Black History Month today, I invite Bob Moore and Ann Greenwood to come forward to light our chalice. And while they're lighting our chalice, I'd like to read an affirmation from the Reverend Howard Washington Thurman. And Reverend Thurman was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was also a minister in the 40s in San Francisco who established the first interracial, interdenominational church. And he said, "We affirm our faith in the little graces of life, the urgency of growth, the strength of laughter, the vitality of hardship. We affirm our confidence in the dignity of all persons, their fortitude in despair, their strength in weakness, their love in hatred. We affirm our joy in the experience of living, the fragrance of nostalgia, the scattered moments of delight, the exhilaration of danger. We affirm our need for each other, the offerings of faith, the gifts of variety, the quality of difference. We affirm our hunger for the divine, the desire for fulfillment, the ache for understanding, and the sense of peace."
A dream today, yes I do. I have a dream today, yes I do. I have a dream today, sisters and brothers, I say, come share the dream and make it true. Justice for all today, I have a dream. Justice for all today, I have a dream. Justice for all today, sisters and brothers, I say, come share the dream and make it true. Let freedom ring today, I have a dream. Let freedom ring today, I have a dream. Let freedom ring today, sisters and brothers, I say, come share the dream and make it true. We have a dream today, yes we do. We have a dream today, yes we do. We have a dream
want to tell you a story today about Lewis Latimer. Lewis Latimer is a Unitarian who made a big difference in our country. How many people have heard of Lewis Latimer? Oh, look at that. Okay, that's amazing. Some of you may not know this about me, but I was a history teacher for, well, let's say 15 years. And until very recently, I had never heard of Lewis Latimer. So it's great. Everyone should know about Lewis Latimer. To really understand Lewis Latimer's story, we have to start with his parents. His parents were George and Rebecca Latimer, and in the 1840s, they were enslaved people in Virginia. And in 1842, when they were very young, 20, 22, they decided they did not want to be enslaved people anymore. And they made a daring escape, and they made their way all the way to Boston. That's crossing like 9 different states to get to the safety of Boston, or what they thought was the safety of Boston, because when they got there, somebody recognized George Latimer and arrested him and were going to send him back to Virginia. And it was a big deal in Boston, and many people were upset, and they thought this is wrong. And eventually, somebody stepped forward, a black minister stepped forward and paid $400 for George to be free. Sounds good. George and Rebecca settled down. They had 4 kids. The youngest one's name was Lewis. So Lewis is the youngest of 4. And as he's growing up, things are getting a little more tense in the United States. More and more tense about slavery in the North versus the South. And eventually, people tried to rearrest his father. And so George Latimer had to flee to Canada. This meant that Rebecca Latimer was left in Boston with 4 kids. And what it meant for Lewis was he only got to go to school until the 4th grade. So till he was about 10, he got to go to school, and then he had to go out and get a job and help support his family. But even though he didn't get to go to school, Lewis Latimer was so creative and so inventive, and one of the things he loved more than anything else was to draw. And so he practiced drawing any chance that he could. Eventually, when Lewis Latimer was 16 years old, he joined the U.S. Navy and fought in the Civil War, and he learned some more skills. And he came home from the Civil War, and he got a job for a drafting company. So people would give him plans, and he would draw those plans. And he taught himself mechanical drawing, so he could draw any kind of equipment. And you know who we started working for? Alexander Graham Bell. Now, we know Alexander Graham Bell because he invented the telephone. And the reason we know that Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone is because Lewis Latimer drew the patent. He drew the design of the telephone so quick and so well that Alexander Graham Bell beat his competitor by 2 hours to get the patent for the telephone. Yeah. And Lewis Latimer kept drawing, and he eventually went to work for a competitor of Thomas Edison, working on electricity and the light bulb. And Thomas Edison, as you may know, invented the light bulb. But the light bulb that Thomas Edison invented wasn't very good and lasted for like 2 days. And so he couldn't really sell it because it was just really expensive. You have to keep buying more light bulbs. Lewis Latimer took the light bulb apart, and he figured out that little filament in there. Do people remember those? He figured out how to make that last. And so suddenly, he got a patent for that, and the light bulb could be sold all over the country because it would last and last and last and last. And eventually, Lewis Latimer went to work for Thomas Edison, and he wrote the very first book in the United States about electricity. And in the meantime, he helped invent the water closet. Anybody know what a water closet is? It's basically a toilet for trains. So you could pee on a train because of Lewis Latimer. And he also got a patent for air conditioning, early air conditioning. So if we're reviewing, a young man who who only made it through the 4th grade, played a role in the telephone, the light bulb, the toilet, and the air conditioning. Kind of a big deal in American history. And for us Unitarians, that's not all. When he was a grown-up, he lived in Queens, New York, and he helped found the Unitarian Church in Queens. And did all kinds, he taught poetry, he helped immigrants learn languages, and he taught drawing. And he was a critical person in helping spread Unitarianism in New York. And again, until I actually discovered Lewis Latimer because I was looking at something about Queens, New York, not because I was looking for Lewis Latimer. But until I did, I had no idea that he even existed. And I want to encourage all of you to look around and see if there are other people in American history who don't get their due. Do a little research. Be detectives. It's Black History Month. See what you can discover, because there's a lot of people out there that are worth knowing about. And on that note, if we could rise in body or spirit, we're going to sing the kids out with Lead with Love.
Love, put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead
with love.
Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other
One foot in
and
front
lead with love.
of the other foot.
One foot in front of the other
One foot.
and lead with love.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start off with a song by Stevie Wonder, Black History Month, wonderful musician. We're going to start off in Zulu, and then I'll sing in Spanish, and then English is the pretty overall translation of this song. So if you know it, sing along always. Nikulela ikusasa niakula utando niakula iniling nana utando yobusa jikalele utando wetu es una historia de mañana y ahora es una historia de amor. Es una historia de amor renera por nuestro mundo. Es una historia de mi corazón. But with a happy song, the singing never seems as bad to me. Came this melody, try to put in words how I feel. Tomorrow will be for you and for me. I am singing of tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I am singing of love. Let's all sing someday. Love will reign throughout this world of ours. Let's start singing.
Let's start singing.
Of love from the heart. There are songs to make you smile, songs to make you sad, but with the happy song to sing, never seems as bad to me. Came this melody, try to put in words how I feel. Tomorrow will be for you and for me. We are singing of tomorrow.
Of tomorrow.
Today we are singing of love. Let's all sing someday, sweet love will reign throughout this world of ours. Let's start singing.
Let's start singing.
Love from the heart. Let's start singing.
Start singing.
Love from the heart. Let's start singing, singing of love from the heart.
Buenos dias. I'm Sandy Portillo Robbins. Will you join me as we say our covenant? We covenant to build a religious community guided by love and sustained by respectful relationships, believing that building healthy relationships is a spiritual practice. We aim to listen appreciatively, speak with care, express gratitude, honor our differences, and assume good intentions. We endeavor to communicate directly, honestly, and compassionately, particularly when we are in conflict. When we hurt one another, we will try to forgive, make amends, and reconnect in a spirit of love. In celebration of the common purpose that unites us, we will do our best to abide by this covenant. And will you please rise in body or spirit to sing our next song, number 162 in the gray hymnal, Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield.
Lay
Good morning, everyone. I am Yannick Louis Lindquist, known to many as Nikki. When Helen approached me about writing a reflective piece for the program, I instinctively knew what I wanted to reflect on. Yet, I hesitated for a moment, knowing that revisiting this particular experience would stir up emotions. But then I asked myself, how could I not reflect on it? Deep inside, I understood that revisiting this experience would give me the space to truly acknowledge the profound grace that was afforded to me. Now, with all of you, I am able to nurture my spirit by sharing my story. Last year, I thought it would be no different from other years. As always, I was excited to visit the Bay Area, a place I've grown to enjoy over the past few years, while visiting my firstborn, Lance. Now retired, I love exploring new communities and embrace this chapter of my life.
Twist.
I've come to
Give just another
value the
moment here. Looks like it
friendships I
might
built at
happen.
UCB and with my fellow Rotarians from the Berkeley Rotary Club. This particular visit last March felt even more special. I was preparing to celebrate my granddaughter's Leanne's first
I'm going to invite
birthday.
you to take a deeper breath.
Becoming a grandmother to this beautiful baby girl has been one of the greatest
To
joys.
feel your body, this being here in this place, in this time, connected down to this good, this holy earth. Breathing in and out the air that every human being who has ever lived or will, that all our relations in the more than human world breathe this air connecting us as we turn inward, as we pray, as we meditate, as we hold one another through hard times. Hard times, Alice Walker instructs, require furious dancing. May these bodies and this breath hold us in the vitality of hardship, in the confidence in dignity. As we gather down by the riverside and tears are wept on ground that has been bloodied and beaten for too long, may we know that even as we grieve, we grow. Through our hurt, may we continue to find a deeper hope. Even as we are tired, may we have the strength, the fortitude, the tenacity to keep trying. May Latimer's light illuminate even the most dark pieces of our history, and may we find in darkness a beauty we did not know was there. May we find that all the tears and blood spilled on the holy ground beneath us has served to water a vine and fig tree that grows up around us. May we know the truth that everyone deserves their place under that vine and fig tree. God of history and of hope, of bloodshed and of tears. Fierce presence that moves in our dancing and our singing, that brings us back to joy even in the hardest times. Lead us again and again to that vine and fig tree. May nations know peace and study war no more. May we rest in the shelter of those leaves with the sweetness of that fig in our mouths, in stillness, in quiet, here and now. In this community of care and witness, we hold one another through the seasons of our lives. We lift up those joys and sorrows among us. Today, I want to reach our love out to Charis Domador, our connections coordinator, who is down in Chile taking care of her mother who had a heart attack while traveling in rural Chile. They are making their way safely and will be back this week. Someone invites us to hold good thoughts for full success of Anne's surgery tomorrow. And Jane is thinking of all the federal workers whose lives have been upended lately, standing in solidarity. May everyone facing this chaos know they are not alone. Brent wishes for healing and health for his beloved wife, Barbara, who was in the emergency room last night. Thank God for all those at Richmond Kaiser for everything they do every day for us. Amen. And Katrin Welts shares prayers for the soul of Rutherford, a truly unique and precious human being, and Molly Hosmer Dillard, who's doing her best to allow herself the transformational path of grief. For all that we have named aloud and all that yet remains in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, too tender yet for words, for all those cares we hold for this interconnected web spanning across our planet home. May we know that everything that we hold here in this sanctuary or wherever you are joining us from is held in the loving embrace of this community. And by that love beyond all naming, the love that cannot and will not let us go. May it be so, and amen.
In her story earlier, Catherine mentioned Black Americans who are little known, nowhere near as well known as they should be. We're going to do music by Margaret Bonds, And she is one of those people who should be much better known. Fortunately, she is becoming a little bit better known. She was born in 1913 and lived for 60 years. She was a pianist and educator and composer. She was the first black soloist ever to perform with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. That's a pretty big deal all by itself. She's best known, has been best known for her arrangements of spirituals, but she wrote in many genres, including the one you're going to hear today, a large work titled Credo. And it was written in 1964 on a text by W.E.B. Du Bois. He does actually have names for all those letters. William Edward Burghardt Du Bois, a great figure in American history, including many, many things he did, but a co-founder of the NAACP. And these are the words he wrote in 1904, and there's astonishing words. They are so relevant still today and so powerful still today. This is part of one movement from her large work, the Credo.
I believe in the Prince of Peace. I believe that war is murder. I believe that armies and navies are at bottom the tinsel and braggadocio of oppression and wrong. And I believe that the wicked conquest of weaker and darker nations by nations whiter and stronger but foreshadows the death of that strength.
I believe in the Prince
visiting my firstborn, Lance. Now retired, I love exploring new communities and embrace this chapter of my life. I've come to value the friendships I've built at UCB and with my fellow Rotarians from the Berkeley Rotary Club. This particular visit last March felt even more special. I was preparing to celebrate my granddaughter's Leanne's first birthday. Becoming a grandmother to this beautiful baby girl has been one of the greatest joys of my life. 2 days before the celebration, as I'd made my way to a Rotary Club meeting, I was full of excitement. I could not wait to share my happy news about the reunion for Leanne's big day. As I crossed the street at a pedestrian walkway, however, everything changed in an instant. A medium-sized SUV came out of nowhere and struck me on the left side of my body. The next few minutes, the next few seconds felt surreal. I can still hear the clashing sound of metal from the impact as I was thrown to the pavement. Instinctively, I thrust my hands in front of my face, protecting my head from the ground. For a brief moment, I lay motionless. But a wonderful Good Samaritan, a young lady who had been walking behind me, quickly rushed to my side. She helped me to the sidewalk, called 911, and stayed with me until the paramedics arrived. Meanwhile, the elderly driver of the SUV remained on the scene, visibly distraught by what had happened. At urgent care, I was stunned and relieved to learn that my x-rays showed no broken bones or internal bleeding. I remember asking the doctor how I had managed to react so quickly and break such a forceful fall. He paused, then explained that during moments of crisis, the brain sends signals to the body in ways we don't fully understand. It was clear that my body and mind had worked together in perfect sync, allowing me to break the fall in precisely the right way. As he left the room, the doctor wished me good luck and said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Although I had to undergo several months of physical therapy and the emotional and psychological scars remained, I am convinced that my life was spared for a reason. I believe I still have work to do in this world. I left that examining room with a renewed sense of reverence for life. This profound gift of grace has inspired me to live each day with full intention and gratitude. And this experience has also renewed my dream and determination to continue my foundation, Oasis for Haiti's Children. I started this foundation right after the most devastating earthquake in Haiti's history, 13 years ago. As many of you at UCB know, because you have supported my foundation, we provide food and much needed recreation for Haitian children who would otherwise go hungry and be disconnected from other children. I am grateful for you, for my life, and the work that still needs to be done. Thank you.
This is part 2 of Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it.
In our covenantal community, we share the responsibility for pursuing our mission by giving generously of our time, talent, and treasure. I invite you to support the work of our church by giving electronically, by scanning the QR code on the back of your badge, or by putting a cash or check donation into the donation envelope that you'll find in the back of the pew in front of you, and then put it into the donation box beside the fountain in the atrium as you leave the service. Each week, half of our offering is shared with the nonprofit Good Neighbor organization. The Good Neighbor for this month is Through the Looking Glass. Their mission is to provide and encourage respectful and empowering services, guided by personal disability experience and disability culture, for families that have children, parents, or grandparents with disability or medical issues. Will you join me in rededicating ourselves to our mission? We dedicate our offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation, to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service. Thank you.
I'm going to teach you this song that I co-wrote with Starhawk. And then on the third verse, please join in, just so that you hear the melody. Open your eyes, the wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day.
We will rise in a new day.
Sparks of flames ever burning.
Sparks of flame ever burning.
Beacon of hope to light the way.
Beacon of hope to light the way.
Open your arms, the wheel is turning.
Open your eyes, the wheel is turning.
We will rise in a new day.
We will rise in a new day.
Sparks of flames ever burning.
Sparks of flame ever burning.
beacon of peace to light the way.
Beacon of peace to light the way.
Together, open your heart. Open your heart. The wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day. Sparks of flames ever burning. Beacon of love to light the way. Open your mind, the wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day. Sparks of flames ever burning, beacon of change to light the way. Open yourself, the wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day. Sparks of flames ever burning. Beacon of joy to light the way. Open your sight, the wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day. Sparks of flame ever burning. Beacon of strength to light the way. Open your heart, the wheel is turning. We will rise in a new day. Sparks of flames ever burning, beacon of home to light the way.
There is always so much happening in our community, and each week we want to lift up just a few things to let you know what's going on. You can always find this on our website, ucb.org. Under the news section, you'll find our weekly bulletin, the week ahead. And you can see I'm really just standing in for two of our key members of our church, and certainly of our People of Color Caucus, Lonnie and Cordell, who I'm being their mouthpiece, I was told, for this moment today in their temporary East Coast digs. They send a warm hello. So first, the chicken that is the delicious entree, part of the meal after the service, and apparently part of the dessert, the crust, Bob says, are donated by the People of Color Caucus. And if you are interested in learning more about our community and getting connected, grab that lunch and join me in the fireside room after the service today. We're having the second part of our Pathways to Connection class. We had a wonderful session last week. Hope to see many of you again today. We'll be done by 2:15. I understand there's a important concert later today with some roughhousing on either side of it. Ordination. Next week we are ordaining Catherine J., our Director of Family Ministries. So come, it'll be just our normal service. The normal service time is when we'll be doing the ordination. Really excited to celebrate her ministry with all of you next week. I want to just note, because I've gotten so many notes about this the last couple of weeks, that people are on the rise with trying to scam church members by impersonating their pastor. So I will never ask you to buy gift cards. I just won't do it. That'll never be me. And I also don't usually start my emails by saying I'm praying for you. If you'd like me to do that, let me know. But I know you. All right. So beware. It's something, unfortunately, they make up email addresses to impersonate ministers. They've found vulnerabilities, and we can't stop it, but we can be on the alert for it. This Thursday, lastly, I just want to say, if you've got time in the middle of your day, if you can, come out and join me in San Francisco. We're having a vigil, a moment to reaffirm sanctuary among interfaith Bay Area congregations who are committed to our religious communities being sanctuaries in this moment of absolute repression and oppression of those who are here in undocumented ways. So at 11 o'clock at St. Mark's Lutheran in San Francisco, we're going to meet up. Come if you can. That's this Thursday at 11. A good way to show what love is. So will you now, before we rise in body or spirit, it's going to be Helen Tinsley Jones, one of our board co-presidents, who introduces our closing hymn today. Helen, would you introduce this song?
Thank you, Reverend Marcus. And joining me is POCC member Mimi Bull. Born in Florida in 1871, James Weldon Johnson was a teacher, a national organizer for the NAACP, and the first African American to be admitted to the Florida bar. An author of poetry and nonfiction, he became a leading voice during the great flourishing of art and writing that was the Harlem Renaissance. In 1917, he wrote the poem, The Gift to Sing. In this poem, the repetition of sing reminds us of the active role that music plays in shaping our experience, and that singing is a vital source of hope and renewal. And here's the poem, The Gift to Sing. Sometimes the mist overhangs my path, and blackening clouds about me cling. But oh, I have a magic way to turn the gloom to cheerful day. I softly sing. And if the way grows darker still, shadowed by sorrow's somber wing, with glad defiance in my throat, I pierce the darkness with a note and sing and sing. In 1900, James Weldon Johnson wrote the poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, which was put to music by his brother, John Rosamond Johnson. Please rise in body or spirit and sing, lift every voice and sing the Black National Anthem. The words will appear on the screen, and you'll find them in the gray hymnal. It's hymn number 149. Sing out loud, sing out strong.
heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith and the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the mound we trod, bitter the chasing rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat and not a weary feet, come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the lonely past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast taught us far on the way, Thou who hast light by night, let us renew the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Bless our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadow beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Will you reach out a hand or touch a shoulder or let us be connected? Let us feel in our feet and our fingertips, all throughout our bodies, our commitment to a struggle that we have inherited, that we will now do our part to turn in this wheel towards justice. Audre Lorde taught us it is not our differences that divide us. It's our inability to recognize, appreciate, and celebrate those differences. May we be a people who celebrates one another in all our differences. Amen. May it be so.